Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching Fantavision, and today we're discussing the Xbox Series X and S pre-orders and the mess that surrounded that, why it might have been that bad, and how it actually wasn't as bad as the PlayStation 5 pre-orders. Of course, before we continue, please do subscribe and like, it really does help a lot. So yesterday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, the pre-orders opened up on various websites for the Xbox Series X and the Series S. I believe the first ones to open up were Target, Walmart, and they sold out immediately. They were just gone. You couldn't get them. It was crazy. I know a lot of people did in my chat, but I did not. I did not get one at Walmart or Target, and I was already like, oh, well, this is bad. And then a little bit later, Amazon popped up, but Amazon was such a mess. It was such a mess for the first half an hour or so that whenever you refresh the page for the Series X, it was just dogs because that's the error screen. And whenever you refresh it, there's a new dog. And it just felt like the most trolly thing in the world. The fact that they've just got all these dogs just popping up saying, sorry, but here's a dog. I mean, I wasn't really mad or anything. I thought it was kind of funny, but just the fact that you can't get to the thing that you want to pre-order and there's just constant dogs. Oh my god. So when it finally was available for everybody to see, it was no longer just a bunch of dogs. I got my pre-order and it was sold out like that. I mean, I don't even understand how I got a pre-order in. Some people did as well, but most people did not get a pre-order in Amazon because it was just so fast. It was insane. It was like, there it's gone. Just, if you didn't click the button at the right time, you did not get it. You just were not going to get it. I think it was up for like maybe a minute, maybe even less. It was shocking how fast it sold out on Amazon. Which brings us to Best Buy, which somehow was up way longer than Amazon. You think Amazon, out of all the different stores, would not only be prepared for an online rush of people, like they have no reason to not be prepared for this kind of traffic. You think they'd also have the stock in place to, get the most amount of people and the most amount of pre-orders because it's Amazon, it's huge. But Best Buy somehow, they waited about an hour, I feel like. It was about an hour or so after all the pre-orders happened at 8 a.m. They waited for the bum rush of all the other sites to die down. And then they opened it up, they opened the floodgates, and, you thought it wasn't working because it wasn't working right, but you thought you wouldn't be able to get one because it kept saying, sorry, due to the high volume, we can't add it to your cart. But we learned a trick. If you clicked the build a bundle area and then clicked add to cart like 1,000 times in rapid succession, add it to your cart, you check out, you're done. Oh shit, that actually worked for some reason. Wait a minute. We did it! Alright, now Amazon can cancel, I don't give a shit. It was definitely an arduous process. I'm not saying it was easy to begin with. It took me probably 3 full checkouts before that moment finally happened that I got a confirmation email. But that somehow, like at some point, everybody was able to at the same time use that same method and get through. Because on the app, I got through pretty quickly, all the way to the end, and then it wouldn't accept my credit card or something crazy like that. It just wouldn't let me go through, and then removed it from my cart, and that was really upsetting. But once I found out this trick worked in the build a bundle area, click add to cart 100 times, it gets in, you check out, you're good. Hundreds of people. I'm just seeing the chat on my stream, just scrolling when I asked who got one from Best Buy. It was like a sea of I got ones. Now you might be thinking, but Fanta, wasn't it only available in a small window after everybody figured out how to get one? No, that's the shocking thing. Best Buy, you were able to pre-order the Xbox Series X from Best Buy for like an hour. It was insane. It was just like an hour to an hour and a half of constant people telling me they just got one. They just got one. They just got one. And I don't know how. I really don't know. A lot of people are worried that they may have oversold. But there's also the theory that they had bot protection, whereas Amazon probably did not have bot protection. That's why it sold out in half a second. Walmart is incompetent. Doubt they had bot protection. Target, the pre-order button didn't even work. Some people did get pre-orders at Target, but I could never even get the damn button to work. Sometimes it added to my cart and then immediately take it out. I got nowhere there. But Best Buy, for an hour and a half, I am being told I got one. And it just kept going and going and going until it finally said coming soon again because they had sold out. It was so much easier to get a Series X than it was to get a PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 sold out everywhere like that. It was just immediate. If you got one, it's because you found out within minutes of a link being posted from somewhere or someone alerting that it's available, and then it's gone. It's just immediately gone. It was like Amazon, but everywhere was Amazon when it came to the PlayStation 5. I don't know how I got a PlayStation 5 pre-order. I'm going to be completely honest. That was complete chaos. It was a complete mess. Nobody knew when it was going to show up. It just randomly did. It was just all of a sudden posted all over my Twitter feed. It's up. Hey, it's up. You better get it. And I'm like, holy shit, what is happening? Whereas the Xbox, it sold out instantaneously on a couple of websites and didn't work on a lot of others. But on Best Buy was the king. Best Buy was the gold mine. Best Buy was the GOAT. Best Buy made it so hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, at least in my stream, were getting the Xbox Series X easily. Now, you did have to work a little bit for it just by clicking the button like 1,000 times, but once you got it, you're golden. And they gave you so much time to click that button that most people in my stream got it. And it was crazy. It was crazy to see what the success rate was compared to the PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5, gone, finito, crap. Xbox, you got time. You got time to get it. I streamed for about 4 hours, between 8 to 12. And during that time, it was just constantly people getting Xboxes. Of course, they sold out at different places during that time and people were having difficulties. But as soon as Best Buy just opened up the floodgates and let everybody pre-order one, it just seemed like everything was golden. It seemed like the majority of people that wanted one got at least one during that time. I mean, there were people that had time during this whole Best Buy thing to call up family members, let them know it was happening, have them create Best Buy accounts, and get more Xboxes for their entire family. That's how much time people had for this launch. Whereas PlayStation 5, you blinked, you missed it. So even though this was a chaotic mess, it was still much better than the PlayStation 5. But it was only that way because of how Best Buy ran it. Now, a lot of people are wondering, why is this so bad? I don't ever remember consoles being this difficult to pre-order, this much of a pain in the ass, except for the Wii. And it's really because of our entire situation of 2020. I mean, you're not able to pre-order these systems in stores. They gave you a very small window to pre-order, whereas previous systems, you had a long time to pre-order. You knew what the price was way in advance instead of 2 months before launch. It was a much smoother process, and it was much easier to deal with. You could actually think, do I want this system, instead of, oh, I better buy it now before it's gone. Now, some cynical people might think, oh, well, that's a marketing strategy. They wanted to narrow it down and make it as difficult as possible to drum up hype. But honestly, even though it's like a Nintendo thing to do, I don't think Sony and Microsoft did that. I really don't. I think this is because their production was cut down for a very long time. I think this is because just this whole work environment for everybody has been very difficult due to the pandemic that's going on, and I think that's what happened. Also, you are not able to do in-store pre-orders pretty much anywhere. I know GameStop had like 8 systems. They got like nothing. I don't quite know why. A video game specialized store has the least amount of stock of anywhere. By the way, GameStop, I didn't even mention them before when I was talking about the pre-orders because they didn't work at all. Like, I'm sure some people got pre-orders from their website, but their website was worse than any of them. You could barely even load GameStop.com. It just came to a black page that said, screw you, you get nothing. You're in a digital line, whatever that means. And I think it meant nothing. I think it was just because they were crashing. Same with the Microsoft website. The Microsoft website, a lot of people did get pre-orders in my stream, but when I went to it, it was just a white page with some letters on it that said error. So those two were definitely the worst. And I'm surprised Microsoft, also of all places, had definitely the worst pre-order experience out of everywhere. Besides, of course, GameStop. Those were tied for worst. Target was a close second to those two, tying for the shittiest websites. But because you could not pre-order in stores, because that was not an option, and because a lot of people are working from home and a lot of people are stuck home, all of that foot traffic that would have been going to stores, that would have been spread out over a long period of time of pre-ordering, was then condensed into a single morning of only online pre-orders. It was a fever pitch. It was just too much traffic too quickly, and none of them could handle it. Again, I feel like Microsoft's website should have been able to handle it. Sony's way of giving out like invitations to elite gamers was ridiculous. But overall, I don't think this whole experience was avoidable. I don't think there was a better way to do this just because there was no way to get the numbers out there. As factories were shutting down and production was halted and slowed and offices were closed and people working from home, making it more difficult to put these presentations together and work on these things, made it way more difficult to make this a smooth pre-ordering experience. I don't think we're ever going to see this much of a mess in the future. I think this was kind of a one-off thing just because it was a perfect storm of just things happening this year. And I also don't really blame Sony or Microsoft. I really don't. I think it's just, like I said, the perfect storm of crap happening and making things difficult. I mean, shipping has been delayed worldwide, so much so that Sony is using, I still can't believe this. I know I said this in my Sony video, but they're using 60 flights of 747s to bring their PlayStations here to try to fill customer demand. And also, I want to say this again, just like I said in the PlayStation video. If you did not get an Xbox, if you did not get a PlayStation, do not buy them off of eBay. Please, for the love of God, do not feed the scalper market, because if you do, they're just going to keep buying up these systems and flipping them on eBay. And then we're going to see this pre-order thing keep happening for everything. I mean, this happened with the 3080 because so many bots bought it up, sold it on eBay. It's a complete mess because so many people are impatient. Just have some patience. There's nothing really that's great at launch that is only going to be in the next generation consoles. They're all cross-generational. So if you can't get one right away, honestly, you're saving yourself some money and you're going to get bundles and better deals later on. Everybody that buys a next-gen console at launch is the real sucker. We are the early adopters that are basically bug testing the system. I mean, look at what happened with the 360. We get the worst version of the system. I mean, the Xbox One S is so much better than the original Xbox that came out, which was a massive VCR that over time just kept getting slower and slower and slower. The original PlayStation 4 that came out sounded like a jet engine. I mean, there are so many different issues with the launch systems, and every single time that happens, you're always getting the worst version of the console when it comes out. So we're the early adopters. The people that are buying it at launch day are the early adopters. We're the people that are going to be playing the slightly upgraded games compared to a couple years from now when all of the games are going to look completely different. If you look at 360 to Xbox One, games looked pretty similar, but if you look at new Xbox One games to, 360 games, huge difference, huge. So again, there's no rush, relax. I know it's stressful. Everybody's on the hype train, including myself. You just gotta try to think about it. Try to think clearly about the situation instead of getting over emotional and getting too hyped up. Because it's FOMO. Like I said, I am a victim of FOMO, and the fear of missing out is real. And as everybody around you is getting pre-orders, you can feel left out, you can feel sad, you're not going to get the next generation system at launch. But I would argue that that is a good thing you're not getting it at launch, honestly. And again, If you still want it at launch, I think there will be more systems available at launch, and I think there's going to be another pre-order opportunity. I guarantee it, that there's going to be a lot more at launch, and that there should be another pre-order opportunity. Microsoft actually seems shocked by how many people wanted the Series X, because before the excitement just wasn't there. But as they've bought more and more companies and Game Pass is a better and better value, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting generation for sure. And I think it's going to be a lot more of a closer race than the last generation, where Sony just kind of ran away with it. So like the video if you guys liked it. Comment down below if you did get one, if I was able to help you in some way, or if you're just going to be waiting later on. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content. And as always, have a fantastic day. See you guys.